After Israel's magnitude 4 Haifa quake today, Saudi Arabia was just struck with a magnitude 4.6 at the Great Rift Valley. As we can see, this is the area of the Great Rift Valley, and that's the transform fault that goes into Israel. And Israel, in the northern section of the Jordan, is the north section of the Great Rift Valley, the Jordan Rift Valley. Let's take a look at this together on the map. This is it right here, and this was a couple of hours ago, it just turned from blue to yellow, and this was at just in the ocean, just off the coast of Haifa, and it looks like the pressure just went along the fault line of the Red Sea. And these are, even we just had another quake, this was red, it just turned blue as I was talking to you. As you can see, these are the quakes that we had recently, the quake swarms here, quake swarms here, quake swarms in Carpathos of Greece, quake swarms in Albania. We had the Romanian quake they took off. Okay, we had the other one here in Croatia. And they were all 4s and 5s. This one here is a 5.2 today. And of course, earthquakes beget other earthquakes, 4.4. Another one here in Crete, 4.7. And you can see that this whole area is shaking. The whole area here is shaking, and this was a few hours after this one here, the Red Sea. And let's go to the tectonics, sorry, yes. That is Haifa. Let's go to the tectonics of this. You can see a very nice aerial and the tectonics. It's right on there. That's it right there. Okay. And if we look at the geology of it, let's go to this. Nobody has reported. It's in the middle of the Red Sea. And the East African Rift System. This is it right here. And pulling out, this is the Haifa quake that we had, 4.0, and this is a 4.6 of Saudi Arabia. It may seem a big distance to you, but it's actually the same rift, and it's huge. This is the Great Rift Valley of Africa, full of fault lines, volcanoes, and we know that everywhere you have a rift system, you have magma underneath splitting it, putting it up, making everything very soft, very thin, and it's splitting, of course. And we have a lot of volcanoes here, and this will at one point in a long time in the future split off and become another continent, allowing the sea to come in between the land masses. And you can see wherever you have rivers which that are fault lines, this is the Nile River. And this is, of course, the African plate, the Arabian plate. And this is the Anatolia plate, the smaller Anatolia plate, the Eurasian plate. And Africa is, of course, slamming into the Mediterranean and closing up the Mediterranean Sea. And you have a lot of this activity going on, and you could very nicely see the fracture right there. The East African Rift System is a 3,000 kilometer long Cenozoic age continental rift extending from the triple junction between the Horn of Africa and the Middle East to western Mozambique. Segments of active extension occur from the Indian Ocean west to Botswana and Congo. It is the only rift system in the world that is active on a continent-wide scale, providing geologists with a view of how continental rifts develop over time into oceanic spreading centers like the Mid-Atlantic Ridge. Rifting in East Africa is not all covial. Volcanism and faulting have been an ongoing phenomenon on the continent since the Eocene about 45 million years ago. The rift began in northern East Africa, leading to the separation of Africa, Nubia, and Arabian plates in the Red Sea and Gulf of Aden, and in the Turkana area of Kenya-Ethiopia border. So at one point, of course, this was together, and they split. This was together, and they split. That's what they're telling us. And this will also split. This thing here will also split, coming off like this part did here. The Earth is growing at the rate of the human fingernail every year. As much as the human fingernail grows every year, that's how much the Earth is growing. Now, how it's growing and how it's expanding is another. It's another story. And the sediments, these things, when they go back millions of years, the sediments are also growing. Where is all that sedimentation coming from? Well, a lot of that comes from volcanic ash. And I don't know, we have tons of dust coming in from asteroids every day. We don't see it, but it's coming in. We also have tons of water coming in from comets, water-bearing comets. And they've estimated recently 25,000 a day, carrying 20 to 40 tons of water a day. Not a day, each. And they're not bombarding us at our atmosphere, they're bombarding us at our magnetosphere, at the poles. So we're getting soil, and we're getting water. And where else we're getting all these things from? The sediments coming in from ash from volcanic eruptions as well. The volcanoes and the lava growing, the land masses as well. But that's another issue. And this is the surprise that we had today, was after the Israeli quake. We had this quake here as well. But this is the Jordan River. This is the northern area of the Rift Valley, is the Jordan Rift Valley. All right, we spoke a little bit about this, so we got that down pat. The extending, today extension magmatism are localized in distinct eastern, western, southwestern branches, marking the edges of two or more microplates, the borders of microplates, with the Nubian plate to the west, Somalia plate to the east, now representing the most seismically active zones on the continent where normal faulting earthquakes occur on a monthly basis. They're also the sites of volcano tectonic earthquakes. Along the rift, models of sparse GPS data and earthquake slip vectors predict average spreading rates of about 1 to 4 millimeters a year. Now, the seismicity of the East Africa rift widespread displays distinct pattern, but we won't go into that. The northern eastern branch and the northern branch, okay, the Kenya, they're talking mostly about the African quakes. But let's go to our Jordan Rift Valley. That's it right there. This is the Jordan River. It comes from Mount Hermon, and it comes down through the Galilee, Sea of Galilee, going down to the Dead Sea, and then down to out to the Red Sea. Okay, that's the Jordan River going through the Sea of Galilee, down to the Dead Sea, and out to the Red Sea, right here. That's the northern part of the Great Rift Valley, is the Jordan Rift Valley. And of course, wherever you have a rift valley, you also have magma. And we know that we just in the previous video concerning the Israeli earthquake, which is not little, for magnitude is not little. And the unfortunate thing is that they have very ancient buildings everywhere in Israel. These, of course, every time there's an earthquake, shake up, and they become dangerous. They're risking collapse. Now, this, of course, we said that all along the Galilee, we have volcanic rocks, and we have a lot of magma under there because of the fact that we even have a lot of hot spring baths that were there since antiquity, and they're still there today. A lot of hotels there are giving hot spring baths, just like they are in the Dead Sea. There's a lot of baths, but they have, that's another, it's a mineral baths having to do with the salt and everything. But here they have hot springs because of the fact that they have magma underneath. Okay, so that's the Rift Valley, and the Syria-African Depression, the elongated depression, modern-day Israel, Jordan, Palestine. The geographic region includes the entire length of the Jordan River, from its source through the Hula Valley, the Sea of Galilee, the lower Jordan Valley, all the way down to the Dead Sea, and the lowest land level on Earth, and then continues through the Arabah Depression, the Gulf of Aqaba. Okay, that's where we are there. The Gulf of Aqaba is towards Persia, and the Gulf of Suez we have there. And well, it's Aqaba that we're talking about now. Okay, that's Suez, that's Aqaba. Okay, that is the Gulf of Suez, that's the Gulf of Aqaba. Okay. And whose shorelines it incorporates, finally reaching the Red Sea and the Straits of Tiran. Okay, so that's the Gulf of Suez, that's the Gulf of Aqaba, and that's the Red Sea right there. And the history and the physical features, the Rift Valley was formed millions of years ago, 23.8 to 5.3 million years ago, when the Arabian Plate moved northward and then eastward away from Africa. 1 million years later, the land between the Mediterranean and the Jordan Rift Valley rose so that the sea water stopped flooding the area. The geological and environmental evolution of the valley since the inception can be seen in a variety of sedimentary and magmatic rocks preserved in continuous sequences in the deeper basins. The lowest point in the Jordan Rift Valley is the Dead Sea, the lowest spot of which is 2,190 feet below sea level. That's it right there, the Dead Sea, right here. The shore of the Dead Sea is the lowest land on Earth, about 1,300 feet below sea level, rising sharply to almost 3,300 feet in the west and east. The rift is a significant topographic feature over which a few narrow paved roads and difficult mountain tracks lead. The valley north of Dead Sea has long been a site of agriculture because of water available from the Jordan River and numerous springs located in the valley's flanks. Now, the Dead Sea transform. The plate boundary extending through the valley is variously called Dead Sea Transform, DST, or Dead Sea Rift. The boundary separates the Arabian Plate from the African Plate, connecting the divergent plate boundary in the Red Sea and to the East Anatolia Fault in Turkey. The DST fault system is generally considered to be a transform fault, accommodating 105 kilometers, 65 miles northward displacement of Arabian Plate. GPS data giving rates of present-day movement of the Arabian Plate relative to the African Plate. It's also been proposed that the fault zone is a rift system that is in an incipient oceanic spreading center, the northern extension of the Red Sea Rift. And of course, then it goes into the climates and everything. Okay, so it's our Rift Valley. This is where we had the quake today, the Haifa quake just outside of the coast, on the coast here in the sea. Right here, and this is obviously pressures being put there. And the very strange linear formation as well. Okay, I'm sure that has nothing to do with it because, you know, this turns here this way, the transform fault goes this way and then this way. And you can even see it here. This does not go into a straight line like that. Although it does go here, but I don't know. I don't see it there. I see it here. So this is where we had the quakes lately, as you can see. And here over the Euphrates Tigris River is where we had the swarm. We had the swarm here We have the swarm Carpathus right here. We have the swarm in the Peloponnese. We have the swarm in Duras in Albania. We had a couple of earthquakes here. We had the earthquakes in Azores that hit towards the east coast as well. Over Canada, Newfoundland, and the east coast. They took the, okay, these here, okay, and a lot of them here, as you can see. So that's the story with today's quakes here. Israel and right down here, Saudi Arabia, just west of Saudi Arabia, between Ethiopia and Saudi Arabia, and Eritrea. Okay, so that's the story there. We have to keep an eye out on what's happening there, because there's a lot of activity here. And these are all, of course, volcanic areas. Let's go into a nice picture that I saw. I saw something in Jordan, and I want to see if it's volcanic, because it looked like a lava field to me. There it is. There it is. You can see it. Look at that. Let's look at this. Yes, of course it is. That is huge. And that is huge. That is huge. Ooh, look at that. It looks like there's not even any sand down there, you know, because this is a sandy area, desert. Where's the sand on there? It looks so fresh, unless the winds are whipping the sand away from this. You can even see here, look at the spillage out of it. The spillage here. They've got a couple of airports here. This is Damascus right here. Okay, and that's the Sea of Galilee. You can see how close Damascus was to the Sea of Galilee. St. Paul the Apostle was from Damascus of Syria, and he used to live on a street called Straight. That was where his house was, on a street called Straight. That street is still there today. Very ancient city. So, how many miles is that? Let's see. How many miles is Damascus from Galilee? Wow, that's nothing. That's a 3-day walk. 56 miles. 56 miles. And how many miles is it from Galilee to Jerusalem? Because they used to do pilgrimages to Jerusalem. Looks like it's more. Okay, let's go from Galilee, because they used to go from Nazareth, which is around here. Let's go to Nazareth. Okay. To Jerusalem is 72 miles, so that's even more. That was a 3-day, this was a 3-day trek. 3 days. They used to walk during the day, they used to rest at night. Remember when the young Jesus, 12 years old, was in the temple talking to the high priests, and our Virgin Mary and St. Joseph had to go back, and because they lost him, they had to go back looking for him, and they were already on the road 2 days, and they came back looking, and they finally found him in the temple, and she asked him, "Where were you? We lost you." She says, "Well, didn't you know I would be in my Father's house?" This was a 3-day trek. So I guess Damascus is a 2-day trek, because it's about two-thirds of this distance. So, and yeah, it's a little bit more. You can see what I'm talking about. This is volcanic areas here. This is really fresh and nice. Wow. Wow. And it's looks like cinder cones. It's not even, I don't see that it's populated whatsoever. Although, what's this thing here? Could be, what's this green thing? I'm sorry, right now I'm really, oh, that looks like a lake. Very strange. Is it a lake? Or maybe it's just geysers or something. Very strange. These are roads. These look like roads to me. How can they be roads? That looks like a geyser lake to me. It looks like something we would see around Yellowstone with these mineral deposits and salts and things. And again, lava flows there. Is that that can't be a road unless it's an ancient road. No, it looks like a road, but look, they're going this way as well. Very strange. To me, it looks like what is this? Anyway, you know, a lot of things like this have been found by archaeologists. They found asteroid craters and then volcanic eruptions from the asteroid craters. They found them in southwest Egypt and also in the Arabian Peninsula. Strange, very strange. That looks like geyser ponds to me, and this looks like a huge volcano. Beautiful. Look at that, how clean it is. Clean, clean, clean. Look at that. Look at this. Look at this. My goodness. Okay. Anyway, I wanted to talk to you about, look at this. I wanted to talk to you about this area of the Rift Valley. Okay. There's no water in it. Very clean. I wonder when it last erupted. And look at this. You have little things fizzling as well there. Okay. Anyway, you can understand that it's got volcanoes. Big ones and little ones. This one obviously has geysers, as we saw. Geyser ponds over there. And it's only about, what did we say it was? Damascus was 50 something. This was like 90 miles east of Galilee. So that's it. So all of you around there, please be careful. Let's pray for Israel that it doesn't have any more earthquakes, because you know, we all know that this is the area of the prophecy of the big earthquake that will take place. That will be the biggest ever. And as they said, this is the biggest, the only area in the world where they can see continental rifting, as from Arabia to from Africa, and this is part of that. And the prophecy says that the area of Mount of Olives, will split at Kidron Valley from Jerusalem, and that's where the big earthquake is going to take place. And where is the Mount of Olives? Let's see, Jerusalem. Right there somewhere. Mount of Olives. Anyway, somewhere around here, if I'm not mistaken. Where's the Kidron Valley? Jerusalem. And Knesset. Okay, that's for another time. That's for another time. This is the it must be around here. Must be around here. Is this it? No, it's a Tower of, yeah, that's it. That's it. Tower of David is in the area of the Mount of Olives. The Mount of Olives is actually a cemetery. Okay. The Mount of Olives, oh, there's a Temple Mount right there. Okay. The Mount of Olives is actually a cemetery. Oh, here we are, Mount of Olives, okay. Okay, we found it. It's actually a cemetery. Okay. It was from antiquity. Doesn't seem to be that many olives on there, actually. As you can see, very few. I don't think they have very good images of this, but these are all supposedly cemetery from antiquity. And where's the Tower of David? We saw the Tower of David before. That was also that's the city of David. That's Mount Zion. That's the city of David. Now there are those that keep saying that the actual temple was in the city of David and not where they say here, around here. Okay. Anyway, that's it. Let's pray that we don't have any more earthquakes that big in the area of Israel because of the fact that they have very old buildings. And I'll leave links below for you for this. This is on Seismic Berkeley. Thank you. If you'd like to join me on my Patreon account, you will hear content not covered by mainstream media. These riveting stories will be based on my research, and I will state my opinions and give my personal insight on diverse and controversial subjects and world events not covered by mainstream media, and not supported by YouTube guidelines. So whatever I have on my Patreon, most of those will not be on my YouTube channel. Please consider becoming a member today. More of the most significant and important videos will be on my Patreon channel. Your support helps me to continue my research and keeps this YouTube channel alive. And we depend on your support, your generous charity, because we help economically challenged families here in Athens, Greece, in Kapota, and we also help the young generation with university tuition and the community around our church. Thank you.